Welcome, welcome, welcome to the cooking class. This is so exciting because Ashe is going to do some cooking for Nowruz. I'm just going to do a little introduction. Ashe Reshteh was born and raised in Iran in a family of musicians. He has a passion for cooking Persian cuisine with its complex flavors and spices, which I think we will too after this class. So I'm here to basically just create an environment where he can teach the class. I will be looking at your questions in the chat and then asking him when it's appropriate, and also asking him some questions when there's time. And just welcome everybody, and thank you so much for coming to the class.
Thank you so much for the intro. I'm excited to demonstrate this class. I'm not going to say I'm going to teach because I'm not a professional chef or teacher. I'm just a home cook. I love Persian cuisine. So yes, this Thursday is Nowruz, which is the spring equinox. And we're going to do 3 dishes tonight. So one is Ashe Reshteh, which is the bean noodle soup. The other one is Kookoo Sabzi, which is an herb frittata. And last one is a Persian herb and fava bean rice, Baghali Polo. These are traditional Nowruz dishes. We usually make fish as well, but because we only have an hour, if we can do these 3, we'd be lucky. So couldn't do any more. So I'm gonna start the cooking now because some of these dishes need to cook longer, and then as we cook, I'll explain. And if you have questions about Nowruz, about ceremonies, about dishes, please feel free to ask them while I cook. So I have 2 pots here with boiling water going on right now. The first dish we're going to start is Ashe. So Ashe, the base are all the beans, and this is the pot that I'm going to use for Ashe. So I'll wait for you to bring the camera around. So we have all these canned beans. I usually actually make them with dried beans. I soak them the night before, was because we don't have time. We're just using canned beans. So the water is boiling. Everything just goes in. Simple as that. And Jeff is going to start chopping up the herbs while I do that. So the herbs for Ashe are actually this is for Kookoo. This is for Ashe. So we got cilantro, parsley, scallions, and dill. So we want to chop those finely. Half of this, right? Yep, half of that. Yep. And 1/3 of the dill, and half of the scallions. Okay. Yep. So I'll continue with the beans going in. So we got chickpeas, kidney beans, and white beans, and lastly lentils. So those all go in, and I'm gonna let this come back to boil. So this dish, Ashe, this is the one that needs a lot of cooking. An hour is the minimum. If you're doing this at home, or when I do it at home, I actually let it cook overnight. A lot of Persian dishes, you realize that that's the case for them. You want it like the stews, the soups, you want to cook them for a long time to get that umami flavor. So all the flavors get mixed really well. So while this is boiling, this pot is for the rice. The way I do the rice, so as the instructions in the course said, I have soaked some long grain basmati rice. You can also use jasmine, really your liking. The water is boiling in there, and I'm gonna add a lot of salt to this boiling water because this is the only way our rice is gonna get salted. So the rice goes in boiling water. And I'm gonna let this cook in the boiling water on high heat for 7 minutes. The way this works is that the way we make Persian rice is a 2-step cooking process. So right now the rice is almost like pasta, like it's cooking to an al dente, so it still should be chewy. And you'll see once that part is done, the second step we actually cook it without water. We have a process called dam kardan, which means almost like brewing. So we brew the rice in the pot in the second step with all the herbs and fava beans.
Is it small enough? Or
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yes. So you do that. So yeah, so Nowruz is, I just want to add a little bit of a context as we're talking about Nowruz. So Nowruz is the Persian New Year. It's celebrated between many countries in that region, like Afghanistan, Pakistan. So a lot of the countries that they're a part of or neighbors of the Persian Empire celebrated Nowruz, and it goes back to thousands of years ago. It's at the spring equinox because back then Persians really believed in nature is a time. So when spring is the rebirth of nature, it's our new year also. And there's a lot of celebrations around it. So this goes back to thousands of years ago when a lot of people back in old day Persia were Zoroastrians. And they had a lot of different celebrations. Like one of the famous one, which is tonight, I'm going there after class, is a celebration of fire, or what we call Charshab Suri. This is where, so back in the day, before people were Zoroastrians, there was this religion called Mithraism. They worshipped the fire. Zoroastrians came afterwards, and they worshipped one god, but they still believed in the sacred power of fire. So the last Wednesday or the Tuesday night of the year, we have the celebration of fire, which is you do a fire, you jump over the fire, you sing, dance. There are some poems that people read, and they believe in the cleansing power of the fire before the new year. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight after the class.
Siavash, if you have a moment now, can you tell us about your family of musicians? What instruments are they playing? What musics are they playing? And are you also a musician?
Yes, I am. So my family, we play traditional Iranian music. This music, similar to everything else in the culture, goes back to thousands of years ago. The instruments we play, so I play an instrument called tar, T-A-R. It's a string instrument. If you Google it, you'll see it. It's played right here, with a pick. My mom plays santur, which
hammer dulcimer.
yes, that exactly.
Whatever.
So it's played on a surface with two like almost like hammers. Basically, you hammer the strings. My dad used to play setar. It's different than the sitar in India. This is setar, which means 3 strings. Sitar means 30 strings. So this has a lot less. And then my brothers, they also both play. My middle brother, who lives also in New York, he plays drums and also kamanche. My older brother plays tombak, which is a percussion. We played together actually in Rubin Museum. Forgot what year it was, but we had a concert together. My parents were able to come here, and we had a whole family concert. I still play guitar. I think it's not a professional. I don't make money off it. I'm not a professional musician, but it's more than a hobby. It's definitely a way of living, and it's an art. Yeah.
Can you
Wait, so there are no gigs coming up? We want your gigs. We want to come hear this.
Quick pause because there's a step in cooking that I have to do now. I will go back to the music for a second. So
Perfect.
now the water is boiling here. The herbs for Ashe are all chopped up really nicely. So I'm gonna add all the herbs to Ashe. If you want to bring the camera here so people can see it.
So what's in there are the beans, right? And you are adding the herbs to the beans, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So now this is the mixture of beans and the herbs. This is why this dish needs to cook for a long time, because all these need to integrate really well. But we'll cook it as much time as we have in the class. So I'm gonna let this again come to a boil and cook. The rice is almost done also. So now the next step of the rice, this is where it gets very action oriented. So, while I'm doing that, actually, Jeff, you can. Oh yeah, I'll add the cumin. You can start chopping the herbs for Kookoo. So for Kookoo, we have. All right, things are going off. So for Kookoo, we have cilantro and parsley, And then we're gonna have leek, the rest of the scallions, and half of these dill. So all of these can go in kookoo, chopped up the same as the ash.
Cilantro can go too.
Yep, all of them. Yep. All right.
Nice having a sous chef.
Yeah, it is. All right, now this is with the rice. So let's see. So I'm going to drain the rice now. It cooked for 7 minutes. The thing with rice is every rice is different, right? So what I usually do, I grab a little bit. It's still chewy. You want it to be chewy, but not too chewy. If it's still really hard, that means it needs to cook more. But this one is at a really good point right now. So I'll turn this off. The rice will be drained.
That was only 7 minutes.
7 minutes. That's it.
How much water for the ash?
For the ash, that's half a pot.
About 4 quarts.
4 quarts.
4 or 5 quarts.
Four quarts of water for ash. Yeah. Okay, so the next step, we're gonna start. So just follow me the camera. So we're gonna start making the herb rice. So the way the herb rice works, the rice was so we add a lot of oil to the bottom of the pot. This is where this is grapeseed oil. Any cooking oil is fine. This is where tahdig comes from. Tahdig means bottom of the pot. That's where crispy rice happens. So if you want to have good crispy rice, pay close attention. So we have oil. I'm gonna add a little bit of a salt here.
How much oil is that?
That was probably like, I would say 4 tablespoons.
Okay.
4 tablespoons of oil.
Thank
Yep. And now the way I'm gonna place this, so it's gonna be, oh, actually, Jeff, sorry, I forgot something. Can you actually chop up the dill first? I'm gonna need it for the rice.
Sure. Can I use that cutting?
Yeah, you can use this one. I forgot to chop up the dill. So now the way this is gonna happen is gonna be rice, dill, fava beans, rice, dill, fava beans, rice, dill, fava beans, layers and layers. And what happens is that these are all gonna cook together. This is the step that which we call dam kardan or brewing. So you're gonna brew the rice, and at the bottom it's gonna make crispy rice. So I have the fava bean here, which is thawed out. It's not frozen anymore. They're not, but they're very soft. So if you buy fava bean that is fresh, you can cook them in the boiling water with rice a little bit. But these are, because they're frozen, they're already, because it's these are frozen, they're already very soft. If you cook them in the water, they're just gonna get mushy afterwards. So I grab these frozen and I just let them thaw out, and then I'll add them to the rice.
Do you
So now this is how it's
frozen or fresh, or does it matter? Do you yourself prefer?
So Co-op only has them frozen. So these are frozen and I thaw them out. If you get them fresh, you should add them and boil them with the rice in water before, so they cook a little bit. So now here we go. So I'll start adding the rice.
How many layers would you say this ends up being?
Probably 2 or 3, not a lot. I'm not making a lot also. This pot can fit a lot more. So the first layer, you want to make sure it's kind of flat, because that's going to be the crispy rice. And then I'll spread out the dill. And then fava beans. And then the next layer of rice. And as you can see, the first layer, I made it very flat. You're building a mountain, basically. The next layer is kind of like going up like that. I'll add.
That is very beautiful.
And it smells amazing also.
Can our tech people please release the smell for the people seeing the class from home?
It smells amazing.
We need
And
that.
then
technology.
very fragrant and fresh, like the dill and the cilantro. I can really smell it.
So that's the last layer. Still to the top. Then the last bits of fava beans. Now this is optional step. I'm gonna do it. The optional step is you can add some butter on top. So I'll add some very thin slices of butter, and this will just melt on top of the rice. But if you have any dietary restrictions or you don't like butter, you don't have to do this at all.
How many pats are you going to put on there?
That's it.
That's 3
4 or
pats?
5.
All the pets.
4 or 5, yeah. I mean, this is
Okay.
to your tasting and to your liking. So now, this is the signature of Persian rice cooking. So I'm gonna grab the lid that I had. I'm gonna cover it with a towel. You can use paper towel at home. So this goes on top. Now, what is happening is, so this rice was boiled in water. So it has a lot of water, right? Basically, in this process, when the rice steams, the steam is gonna get captured by this towel. But if you don't have the towel and it's just a lid, the steam is gonna go here and then it's gonna drop back on the rice. So the whole point of this towel is that steam will be captured here and your rice will brew properly. So now I'm gonna put the stove on medium high for 10 minutes. In this step, you are making the bottom of the rice crispy. That's why it's medium high. After 10 minutes, the bottom is already kind of crispy. I'm gonna reduce it to medium low and then let it cook for another 20 minutes and we're done with the rice. So rice is good. Ashe is also cooking. So because of limited time we have, here I'm gonna do something. So technically at home, so first actually I'm gonna add cumin to the Ashe. In the recipe I mentioned cumin seeds. I ran out of cumin seeds and I forgot to get some more, so I'm just adding ground cumin. But cumin seeds are fine as well, and a little bit of turmeric. And salt and pepper based on your own taste. So if I was making this at home for myself, I would let this cook for another hour probably. But because we don't have time, I'm going to add the noodles now, or reshteh. So this is the reshteh that I mentioned. There's a store. It's on the recipe. You can get this from Kalustian's. There's a link with everything. So yeah. So this goes in. That's it. We let this cook now.
You put the entire package at the bottom.
Half a package. The entire package, I already used half, so that was only half. Yep. Yep. So okay. Now these two are gonna cook. We're gonna let them either. We're gonna go for Kookoo now. So Jeff did an amazing job of chopping up all of these. So all these herbs are in here. Now we're gonna crack the eggs. So next, while I'm doing that, if you could slice the onions, just put them in here.
Onions, and what about the garlic?
Garlics can be chopped up small and in this bowl.
Okay.
Ooh.
Having fun yet?
Oh yeah, my eyes are burning.
Can I say I was going to make a comment about the reshteh? We were
Yeah.
talking earlier.
Yeah, go
about,
ahead. Yep.
We're trying to figure out what the difference between reshteh is and like Western noodles. And basically, the reshteh turns out is made out of a wheat that has a lower gluten content. So compared to like a durum wheat noodle, which will really hold its form when it's cooked, the reshteh will absorb a little more water and kind of fall apart a little bit more too. So if you're going to use like a linguine or a spaghetti noodle, maybe go just a little bit less water, half a cup less water or so, because it's not going to absorb as much water as the reshteh does.
Yep. I actually didn't know that. That's I always thought reshteh is made out of whey or some dairy, but it's not. So I'm gonna whisk the eggs. Mix them really well. So now this is how kookoo is made. So these are all the herbs. This is the whisked eggs. Goes in. This is the part that usually my arm starts hurting. You're gonna mix these really well. At first, it looks like you don't have enough eggs, but you do. Just trust the process and keep mixing it. The thing with kookoo is that it's not really a frittata, so we don't want to add a lot of eggs that turns it into frittata because it's not. You want to actually highlight the herbs more.
Can you talk about how finely the herbs should be cut?
As fine as you can. So you don't want to like, I mean, you can see them in here. You can only see the leeks. But yeah, you want to have them really chopped up really finely so when you eat them, they don't crunch.
You need a professional chef to chop them for you.
Right here, yes.
I'll come chop your herbs for you.
Okay, so if you can see now, it's like, it looks like the eggs are mixed in really well. And then next, I'm gonna add turmeric. So all of these are in the recipe. They are mentioned the exact amount. When I cook at home, I never go by exact amount. That's how Persian cooking is most of the time. So really, it's just based on what flavors I'm going for. Like I like turmeric flavor a lot, so I sometimes use a lot of it. Maybe some people will think it's too much, but I like it. So
We have two questions.
yes.
Ilana asks, what is special about the noodles? And Sohail says, how finely should the herbs be cut? I mean, we could see it, but it seems medium fine. But please answer those. Thank you.
Yeah, so for kookoo, the herbs have to be actually for both kookoo and ash, you want to chop them up very finely, as fine as you can. Sorry. Actually, there are some families in Iran that they use not a blender, a food processor to chop up the herbs really nicely. So do it as fine as you can, honestly. And with Reshteh, what was the question about Reshteh?
Just the noodles, what's special about them?
You want to explain?
I mean, as I mentioned, I kind of answered this already. It's a wheat noodle. You can replace it with a spaghetti or a linguine, but it's just a different type of wheat.
Yeah.
So, but it's essentially a very similar noodle.
Are the noodles specially for the holiday, or are they just a Persian kind of noodle that people would use in Persian cooking generally?
Yep. So while I will answer that, so barberries are going in. Barberries and walnuts are optional. Oh yeah, that's camera. Barberries and walnuts are optional. Like this is Kookoo Sabzi done, so you can just do this. The rest of it is optional, but I like it because it adds really amazing flavors. Barberries are, again, you can find them in the same store. They're kind of sour. With walnuts, I'm not gonna chop them up and just like that. That's it. So now the question about Reshteh. Reshteh is a Persian noodle. Like I think I've only seen it used in Persian cooking. It is not special to holidays. We actually use it in many dishes. We use it in Ashe. We use it in. Do we only use it in Ashe? There's a couple other dishes we use it in, but it's not just for a holiday. Ashe is something we make all year round. Yeah, does that answer the question?
Absolutely, thank you. And I will encourage, please put your questions in the chat if you have them. Ask away, and I will pass them on.
All right, so this is where I'm gonna run out of real estate a little bit, but it's fine. We'll find a way to manage. So I'm gonna move the Ashe back there. Now for kookoo, you need a big pan, a very big pan. So I'm gonna add the oil. I think in the instructions I mentioned 4 tablespoons. So you want enough oil to cover the pan, and you want it to get hot. So it's on high heat. I'm letting this get nice and hot. And the mixture is this, it's ready. So as you can see, it's very colorful. It has the barberries, herbs, eggs, walnuts. Mix it well with all the spices. I'm gonna wait for that to heat up for a bit. Onions, that's later. And let me prepare my timer.
Put some chopped garlic.
We're at 8 o'clock.
Nice. Okay, I think this should be good. So now I'm gonna pour this in. You want to come to the other side so you can.
That looks completely amazing.
So should the skillet be hot enough that you can kind of hear it sizzle?
Yep,
when
yep,
it
yep,
hits
yep.
the-
Yeah, because of limited time, I'm kind of like skipping on some of these steps, but yeah, let it
I
get
can hear
hotter.
it sizzle.
Oh, you did? Okay, that's good.
Can the herbs be varied according to the chef, or is it kind of a set kind of herb in a certain?
That's a good question. I'm gonna answer it in a moment. So this is nice and flat. So this is our frittata. I'm gonna let this cook for 10 minutes on this side, and then we'll flip it around and 10 minutes on the other side, and we're done with Kookoo. So, oh, sorry, I'm gonna put the top on as well, the lid, if I can find it. Yep, it's here. All right, so this cooks. Regarding, actually, let me do an inventory check. So we're done here. This is the last one. Okay, good. All right, so regarding the question, okay, so that was the timer for rice, the first 10 minutes. Now I'm gonna go to the final step. So I'm gonna do 25 minutes. And I'm gonna lower the stove a little bit so it's on medium low. So now tadik, the crispy part is done probably, and we just let it cook now. And that's it. The rice will be done in 25 minutes as well. So for the herbs in Kookoo, I mean, you can use different herbs, but it won't be Kookoo because Kookoo has a very specific flavor and smell. Technically, I am using different herbs here because in Iran we have this herb called tare, which we don't have here. So instead of tare, I'm using scallions, but the flavors are very similar. So I think you can use any herbs. Yeah, why not? Especially if you're not Iranian. Like I know what Kookoo tastes like and smells like, and I'm going for that. That's why I'm using these herbs. But if you can use anything, yeah, why not? Okay, so
what is the proportion of the herbs you're using? I know you said it before, but if you could tell us again.
equal proportion. So I used 1 bunch of parsley, 1 bunch of cilantro, 1 bunch of scallions, and 1 leek. So equal proportions. And dill, sorry, 1 bunch of dill as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so now how the setup is gonna work. So this is done. This is done. Now this is where it gets interesting. So for Ashe, if you can bring it close, these noodles are still thin. They need to cook for a long time. This is why I said this dish needs a long time. They get thicker, but it's okay for now. The way Ashe goes is, so we added the beans, we added the herbs, we added the noodles. Next step is the decorations and some of the flavors in there. So Ashe has 2 or 3 toppings actually. One is cash, which is a whey product. Jeff, do you know what is cash made of exactly? Maybe he can explain. I'm gonna add a little bit as it's cooking and keep some for the topping. But Jeff can explain what cash is made of, maybe.
I don't know exactly what it's usually a fermented milk product. Yeah, you can find. Oh, this camera. Okay, so the cash, because as far as I understand it, it's a fermented milk product. It comes in a couple different forms. In the recipe that we sent out, there was a liquid form that comes in a jar. Also, you can buy it at Kalustyan's. Or Siavash has used a powdered version, which he rehydrated with some water and boiled it. I can also tell you about the Central Asian version, which is similar. It comes in these balls, about, I don't know, walnut size, and they're hard and they're salty, and you can get them down in Brighton Beach, Coney Island area at some of the Russian or Uzbek grocery stores that I see more product. So those are the different versions, but it's kind of like a fermented, it's very salty, and it adds a lot of umami and depth to the dish.
Yep. So that was the first topping. The next 2 toppings are fried onions. So I'm just frying some onions that Jeff chopped up. Caramelized onions, I guess. These are yellow onions. As you can see, I'm really very full. Yeah, we need a couple more burgers. Let's see, we can do this. All right, so there you go. You're good. Actually, since I don't have a lot of space, I'm gonna reduce the amount of onions we're gonna fry. It's gonna be hard. So I'm gonna fry some onions and garlic.
I can keep it in this too if you want.
Yep, sure. You?
Yeah.
No, just that. So once those are fried, I'll add some of them to the ash, and some of them are going to be for topping. And the last topping is what we call, which camera am I on? Over there. Okay. The last topping is what we call nano dog. Nano means mint, dog means hot. So it's hot mint. So this is just mint, dried mint. In the co-op, there is I think it's under mint tea or spearmint. It's in the tea section. So I just kind of like use a pestle and morel to make it more just crushed. So after the onions are done, we will fry these with garlic, and that becomes a topping. So when you fry mint, it just the flavor comes out, and that's like the infamous flavor of Ashe.
Is there a special name for the hot?
So that's nano dog?
Nano dog.
How do you spell it?
Nano dog.
Nano.
Maybe Nana nano, and then so yeah, Nana space DAGH.
Awesome.
Nano dog.
Thank you.
Okay, what time is it?
So I turned the rice and I turned this. So that
Nice. Oh, did I set a timer for this? I didn't. Oh no, I did.
And that's for the rice?
That's for the rice, yeah.
It's like a real home holiday. It's chaotic.
Yeah. So we are
Bosh, did you say you were
done. We
using?
just have to wait for everything to cook now. Oh yeah, we can. While that is
I'll
happening,
keep an eye on stuff here.
Yep, sounds good. Bring the camera around. So we have, since this is, I'm sorry, it's a little chaotic over here, but this is Hafsin. This is what we set up for Nowruz. It's the equivalent of Christmas tree for Nowruz. So instead of a Christmas tree, we have a setup. So the setup is called Hafsin, which means 7. Haft is 7. Sin is an alphabet in Farsi, which is S. So these are 7. There are 7 items that start with S in Farsi on this table. So I'll name them one by one. This is Sib, apple. Seke, coin. Somar, sumac. Sabze, grass. Sir, garlic. There's also, there's supposed to be sirke or vinegar in here, but it all evaporated. So there's no more in here.
Just the smell of
Just the
vinegar.
smell of vinegar. And last one, this is the flower called sombol or hyacinth. So this is like a symbolic setup that each item has a meaning. For example, this is the nature obviously, coin for bringing wealth. We also put a mirror and candles here. So mirror is a sign of reflection. So you reflect on your year. Candles are brightness. So you're bringing brightness and reflection into your new year. So this is Hafsin, and usually we set this up like 5 days before Nowruz, and we keep it around for another 2 weeks after. And on the 13th day of the new year, we take this. There's a day of nature. The 13th day is, like a lot of cultures, it's not a good day, so you're supposed to go and spend the day in nature. We take this with us and we dump it in a river, the grass. So you give it back to nature. So yeah, a quick.
So can I ask you, can you hear me?
Yep, yep.
So ritually, are you beginning again? Are you, renewing and making plans and making promises and all that?
All right, let's go back over there. So back to the kitchen. This gets into an experience of an immigrant because I would love to, but I'm not. Because being in a foreign country, it's just like, yes, it is Nowruz, but it doesn't feel like Nowruz when you are in Iran because you're the only one that is celebrating it. It's not a new year. It's not celebrated here. So I do mental things. Yes, like we clean the house. We have this thing called khune tekuni, which is before the new year, you clean your house really well. Like people wash all their carpets, wash all the windows. That like very extreme cleanup process. So we did some of that. What? Let's see, what else do we do? And yeah, we like try to catch up with the family afterwards. We call all the family members. There's this tradition that after Nowruz, you're supposed to go and visit your elders. So in Iran, actually everybody's off for 2 weeks, 13 days, and people are going around just visiting elders. There's a lot of like dinner parties, people visiting each other. We don't do it here because again, like after Nowruz, that's the timer for Kookoo. So yeah, we do some of it, but not a lot. Okay, so now Kookoo cooked for 10 minutes on one side. We're gonna flip it around. So I'm going to first make some, gonna divide it into smaller sections because you can't flip this whole thing around at once. Unless you really want to challenge yourself. So this is, let's see how well we can do this. You can do it. There we go.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. All right, next one.
You're flipping 1/4 of it at a time.
1/4 at a time, yeah. Whoop, almost. Whoop. All right, there we go.
It's really holding together though.
It is because of the eggs, yeah.
That looks incredible. Wow.
Let's see. This side. Woo! All right, close.
Survive.
We survived, yeah, and we put it back together. Yeah. Nice. All right. So now you let this side cook for another. What? Oh yeah. We're gonna let this cook for another 10 minutes or so. Let's see how much time. Yeah, I think 10 minutes is good. So yeah, so Kookoo is pretty much done. Rice is gonna be almost done. Ash is our problem because it just needs a lot of time. But we're gonna just see how much time we have and go with that. Yeah.
Taste it and pretend it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, at home, as I said, I will highly recommend you let this cook for hours. So this is done. You just want to let it cook for a long time so it just integrates really well. So Ash also has a spinach. If I was cooking this at home, I would let it cook for another couple hours and I would add spinach at the last step. But because we're rushing things here a little bit, I'm just going to add the spinach now. So baby spinach. Yep. I'm just going to chop it up roughly because the spinach, all this is going to turn into nothing once it cooks. And something I do want to mention is maybe because I'm Persian, maybe not, but I'm very proud and appreciative of Persian cuisine because you can see how much herbs it has. And this is very typical. Like they're very well balanced. Like there is a lot of herbs. There's a lot of like we use a lot of beans. It's a very well balanced diet actually. I feel like one of the healthier diets. The only problem with it is that we do consume a lot of rice. But I think that's changing slowly in the community as well, slowly. But yeah, we do eat a lot of rice. Yep.
Garlic thing in the back.
Yep.
Without
The only
cash.
without cashew would be vegan. Yeah. The only dairy product is cashew. Which I mean, you don't have to use cashew. You can use more salt.
And you could probably use vegan butter in there, right? If you wanted to.
In Ashe?
Yeah. No,
Maybe not.
maybe not. Maybe just leave
Yeah.
the butter out.
Yeah, don't use anything. I mean, honestly, without cashew is fine. It's a very delicious noodle soup. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Okay. So where's this? So now the onions are done. I am going to add a little. Yeah. A moment.
We dropped the spatula.
Thank you. So I'm adding half of these. This is the mixture of onions and garlic. I'll add half of it to the Ashe. And then the rest I'll keep for topping. Now, the last step for the Ashe is, as I mentioned, nano dog or hot mint. So how do we do that? Is we add some oil. And then that's true actually, yeah, because I don't need this big one for the rice.
So for arrangement.
Oh, there
There we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Is the mint always dried, or can it also be fresh mint?
No, you can't do fresh mint. Yeah, it has to be dried. Which one is that?
Rice.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because it's too easy. Yeah, mint has to be dried. So I'm adding the mint here. You can't overcook it because if you cook or fry mint too much, it will just burn and it will taste very bitter. So and it will take a lot of oil because mint is dry, obviously. And
So you're saying about 5 minutes on high heat.
the what?
5 minutes on high heat.
The mint?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 minutes. And I'm gonna add some garlic once it heats up. Should be done. Let me just do a quick check.
So we're checking the cuckoo now.
Yeah, it is pretty much done. Would I serve this on a platter for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the rice still cooking, or did you turn it
Yes,
on?
it is.
Okay. And but it's on low. You've turned it down, correct?
Yep.
Amazing.
So
That?
yeah, there we go. And you can use This one actually was made by Emily. It's a ceramic. Yeah, it's for rice and for. It looks like a pizza platter, but yeah.
Jeff is sitting.
That is great camera work, team. That
So
looks
you can usually in parties you do a little bit of walnuts and barberries on top for presentation. Yes.
Wait, what did you say you put on top?
Or the walnuts and the what are the
Barberries.
Barberries and the walnut on top. Wonderful.
Yep, for presentation.
There she is.
Smells delicious.
It really does. Look, there's a chef's treat.
You all can dig in if you want. You can have a. You can start.
Okay, so mint is still cooking back here.
Yep. So you can start smelling it. It comes out.
Yeah, it almost doesn't smell like mint anymore.
Yeah.
It has a really different smell.
Yep. Now I'll add the garlic. So when you add the garlic tells you when it's done. Because with mint, the color is dark already. But with garlic, when it turns dark, you know it's done.
They just said the cuckoo looks delicious.
Is the mint that's used identical to tea?
Tea, like mint tea?
Yeah. Is it the same
Yes,
as
it is. Yep.
exactly the same?
Yeah, I get it from the tea aisle in the co-op. Like
Right.
I can. Yeah, let me see if I have the bag. Yep.
There you go.
Peppermint
Oh,
leaf organic is in the
that's-
tea section.
Oh, great. Thank you.
There's the proof that came from the color.
The challenge with the rice is you can't see what's happening in there, and it's really tough to know when you have proper crispy rice or you don't. It's not crispy at all, or it's over crispy and it's burnt, which happens a lot and very easily. So
No.
it's just a lot of experience. It's hard to tell exactly how long. I usually go with, as I said, 10 minutes and then 30 minutes. But it's a lot of experience. And you can, like, with this rice.
Timer.
What was that for? The rice is that one. I think that was just. Oh, it was Kookoo actually, but we got it out earlier. Yeah. You can. So with this rice, you can. When I was placing the rice in there, if you remember, the first layer was flat. Instead of the rice, you can do thin layers of potatoes. So you can cut like russet potatoes very thinly and like kind of like place them at the bottom, and you'll have crispy potato at the bottom instead of crispy rice. You can do cabbage. Oh, yep. That's fine. Oops. That's fine. Let me just
Minor emergency.
a little. What happens when you don't have enough space on this stove?
Or just a wet towel.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Transfers here.
Fire averted.
Fire averted.
Thing.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so I think the mint is also ready. So as you can see, it's browning. So this is good. Which one was it? This one. Yep. So this is done.
Beautiful.
We have this.
That's great too.
Yeah. So,
Ian
Okay.
has a question about the mint, which is, can you use Moroccan mint?
I saw that in the co-op actually. I don't know. I've never tried Moroccan mint. Do you know if there's a difference between spearmint and Moroccan mint?
Yeah, I don't know how much it will affect it.
It's probably pretty subtle.
I think it should be fine, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, I would say use it. That's fine.
Professional advice.
Okay, so what time is it? 8:25. Okay, so Ashi is not ready, and it's not gonna be ready for another couple hours, but it's edible. So we're gonna pretend that it's ready, and we're gonna serve it like it's ready. I mean, actually, it's not too bad. If you can come here, so you see these reshtehs are like very soft now. It's very close. I would like it to cook longer, but that's fine. So I'm gonna serve this so you all see how it's served. Um,
You're just sort of ladling it into a bowl,
yep,
like chicken noodle soup.
yep, pretty much. I mean, if this was for a party, I would do the whole thing in a big bowl. But yeah, just. And then the next step is, so you do a little bit of the cash. So as you can see, it's so watery that the cash is dissolving in there. It shouldn't be this watery. It needs to cook longer. That's fine. That's the rice. We'll get to it in a second. And then, yep, turn it off. So you put onions on top and lime. That's it. So when you want to eat it, you mix it. And now we serve the rice.
You want to do it on the platter, or are you just gonna?
Should I do the whole thing or?
I don't know. You want to risk it?
Well, I actually before doing that, there is a step. So now everything is cooked. Camera here. So now we have to mix it. So if you remember, we did layers. Now we mix all those layers. And you kind of fluff up the rice as you do the mixing.
But the bottom, are you trying to leave the crispy part?
I'm not touching the bottom because I want to leave the crispy part intact. Let's see if it is crispy.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear it.
I can hear some
Yep.
yeah.
So that's the crispy rice. It could be crispier if you add more time, but that is the crispy rice. So I'm not gonna touch the rest. I just wanted to demo it. So I will mix everything except the bottom.
Somebody asked what the variety of rice.
This is basmati. You can use jasmine, but you want to you want to use long grain rice. In Iran, we don't like sticky rice. We consider sticky rice as not good. You want rice that is long grain and is very well defined, I guess. So now I'm going to get some of the tahdig.
Can you also remind us what is the white topping, the sort of creamy topping? What is that?
That's cash. Oh, thank you. Hold on one second. So this is the crispy rice. It could be a little, like another 5 minutes would have been great, but for the sake of time. Yeah. So I'm just gonna serve this part, but you can, if you have guests, you can serve the whole thing. So this is it. So that thing, the white thing, this is cash. I think it's made out of curd.
Strained yogurt
Strained yogurt?
or strained sour milk.
Strained sour milk. Yeah, it's kind of like sour and salty and fermented a little bit.
Where do we get it and how do we spell it?
So it's on, I added it to the recipe, Doc.
Okay,
There's
great.
a link to it. There's a store
Great.
in the city called Kalustians. It's
Okay.
on 33rd, 30 what?
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Somewhere in Lexington and 33rd, 34th. They have a lot of exotic stuff actually, and they have this one. The link is in there. The spelling is Kashk, cash. And they have like the jars, I think.
Just like Policians will ship.
Oh, they will ship. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So Lexington between 28th and 29th.
Lexington between 28th and 29th. Yeah, they have cash. They have the Reshteh. They have a lot of things. Honestly, just go visit. It's a cool place.
As a chef.
And, you know, as a member, you can go to your member services page and request things you want. So we could ask for that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah. We should have it as a co-op.
Very cool.
So
This is beautiful.
that wraps up our class. As I mentioned, with the Ashe, you want to cook it for so long that, as you can see, it's a little watery now. It needs to become thicker. It just needs another couple hours. But the rest, yep, all done.
Well, I want to say, Siavash, that is an amazing class. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the work everybody did. Are there any last questions that anyone has? Put them in quickly in the chat if you do. Wonderful class.